Looted Forward is my fourth album with Kamarata Jazz. Since the release of my first album, Son con Pajarillo, in 2007, I have always celebrated the rich musical traditions of Cuba and Venezuela, the two places that most greatly informed my musical education and influences. This album continues to honor those musical legacies, but at the same time, from all my recordings, I think this is the one with a stronger presence of jazz and even contemporary music elements so far. Also, when I started to plan the album during the summer of 2019, I thought it was time to do an album that could showcase my composer and arranger side a little bit more than I did it on the previous ones. Although the first idea was to record a whole album of my originals, I ended up recording 7 of them out of 9 tracks. The other 2 pieces are a traditional one from Venezuela and the title track by Rodner Padilla, who is also the co-producer and electric bassist of the album and my right-hand man in Kamarata Jazz. I feel very fortunate to have worked with such an amazing group of super talented musicians for this album, whom I can also call my friends. Starting by a Venezuelan rhythm section, besides Rodner on electric bass, I also have Gabriel Vivas on the double bass, Pablo, Bencid, and Fran Vielma on drums and percussion respectively, who are both, by the way, the regular live percussionists of Kamarata Jazz. I got also Diego El Negro Alvarez on Cajón and Batcusión, which is a hybrid set of drums and Cajón that he used in 2 of the tracks. And completing the percussion crew, I got Roberto Moreno as a special guest on Congas. On Venezuelan Cuatro, I am blessed to have Jorge Glem, who is an innovator of his instrument and one of the founders of Kamarata Jazz. Continuing with the horns, I'm very lucky to have the Grammy-nominated saxophonist Troy Roberts, who has also toured and played with Kamarata Jazz many times, and Alex Norris, one of the most in-demand trumpet players of the current jazz scene. Opening and closing the album, I have a powerful horn section led by my good friend and great saxophonist Antonio Luis Horta from Puerto Rico, who recommended me Tyler Meyer on trumpet and Luke Brinhall on trombone, both of them based in the Washington, D.C. area as well as Antonio. Last but not least, I got 2 amazing vocalists as a special guest in the album. Marcial a great Venezuelan singer and sonero who participated in one of the most special pieces for me in the album, one that I dedicated to my father, David Orozco. And then I got Natasha Bravo, a very young and talented Venezuelan singer who participated in the only one traditional piece I included in the album, a beautiful polo margariteño. And finally, to complete the vocal crew of the album, I got Samira Briseño, who is, by the way, my wife, and an amazing violinist, who happens to be a great singer too, and David Alastre, a good friend, great keyboard player, and a bassist, who also happens to be a great singer. Looted Forward was recorded mainly at Intune Recording Studios in Adelphi, Maryland by my good friend and great sound engineer and guitarist, Danny Cortázar. The mix and master of the album were made by Germán Landaeta at Faceland Studios in Miami, Florida. I would like to say that Germán is nowadays one of the best sound engineers of the world. He mixed and mastered almost the whole album except for one track, Con Mi Tambor, which was mixed by my good friend Rafael Rondon, another great sound engineer who actually mixed all the Kamarata Jazz albums before this one. Unfortunately, Rafael passed away in January 2020. I'm dedicating this album to his memory. I recognize that the words rooted forward are a contradiction themselves. However, that contradiction is precisely what I like the most in this case. While the album is rooted in traditional rhythms and genres from Venezuela and Cuba, like danzón, son, cha-cha-cha, joropo, Venezuelan waltz and merengue, and Afro-Cuban Venezuelan rhythms, it also includes contemporary harmonies, melodies, odd meters, improvisation, and unusual instrumentations, creating a sound that moves forward, despite the root elements present in each tune. In other words, it's like the old and beautiful tree of your garden, which has long and deep roots growing down, suddenly starts giving you a new, delicious, and different type of fruit because of a special fertilizer you started using to take care of it. The tree is still old and rooted, but even though it has evolved to a new kind of tree, one that is going forward, that will continue to surprise you even more in the future with lots and new different fruits.